do you think that these brands are paying homage to you guys' ideas or just straight up stealing at this point? Because they could have just hired you. They could have just brought you in.
I got the perfect analogy for this.
You feel me? So what's your take on that? When you see your ideas that you've probably spoken to somebody or you literally had in your head or you already doing,
right,
being done by a corporation that never did it before.
I'm going to say this. We're the fashion stylists, and we dress them apart. They're our mannequins. Because at the end of the day, right, I want you to wholeheartedly understand, and the viewers and fans who watch this, we set the trends. We are the culture. There's some people affiliated with those brands or even employed who aren't from the city. Some are, some aren't.
Yeah, that's the thing I pay attention to as well, yes.
So it's more so them just getting advice from people who are employed, who are from the city, but those people tap in with who?
The city.
Us.
Type.
And they watch who?
Here once again, SwayReportingLive 101 sit downs. This might be a funny one, an interesting one. The guest is already laughing. This might be one for the books. I already know. We have an esteemed guest. He is the admin / CEO of NYC Prospects. Am I correct in saying that, sir?
I am the social media manager.
Social media manager. You gotta get these terms right.
And the events coordinator for NYC Prospects.
NYC Prospects.
Yeah.
And your name is Randy Millard.
Yes, it is. Thank you so much.
First and foremost, how you feeling today?
And I'm feeling pretty good, man. You know, it's nice outside. You know, I know you see our shirts.
Yeah, we need better mentors.
We need better mentors.
And back to the basics.
Yes.
First and foremost, people know the page a lot.
Right.
People may see your face in the scenes, maybe incognito, maybe not, depending on the event. But let's first start with NYC Prospects, just to give people a refresher on what that is. How did you end up being in the position you are with them, and why did you guys create this platform?
So NYC Prospects is a basketball multimedia platform. You know, it's more than just showcases, tournaments, and leagues and events, you know, that we do on a regular. So when this started back in 2018, I heard of it, but I wasn't like fond of it because back then I was coaching junior college basketball at BMCC. So as the years went on, you know, our CEO, I'm not going to say his name because he don't like being in the limelight, but, you know, our CEO, he hit me up, was like, yo, I want you to be a part. So, you know, around that time in 2021, you know, I would just do lives, you know, myself and my man Holly. So we would do lives, we'll interview, you know, different players and coaches, you know, from around the city. And then boom, everything just catapulted into us doing, you know, at a Two Claps Report, you know, doing other events at NBA arenas, you know, packing out high school. So it's been a great transition so far for us.
Because, of course, I already messed up by calling you the CEO, and you just explained the workings of that. But
it's okay.
To some, you are the face, and if they didn't know,
yeah, right,
they see you and be like, oh, yeah, NYC Prospects. Does that feeling at all, has that feeling not properly, but has that even gotten to your head? Be like, okay, a lot of people in New York City are starting to realize who I am, what I do, and how I affect the community. Has that been good or bad? What are the struggles with that, or good things that come with that?
I mean, there's been struggles, but I don't see them. So, you know, with other people who think, you know, that there are struggles, there's no struggles in it. Because prior to NYC Prospects, I've been a part of the basketball journal side in New York City. So just a quick rundown of my resume. When I was in my earlier 20s, right, years ago, I used to be a producer for MSG Summer Ball, right, which is crazy. I talk about it enough, but not a lot. It was one summer where we filmed over like 2,000 hours of street ball, and our show would sound
like my hard drive.
Yo, and the funny thing is, our show, it would be on the MSG network. You know, it was getting like a ton of rave reviews from, you know, basketball enthusiasts and, you know, people at the MSG network. Then I did some journalist work with NYHoops.com. You know, big shout out to Rob White.
Shout out them.
That was, yeah, bro, that was so many years ago. I'm talking about, like, I was covering Corey Fisher.
I know those names. Okay.
Chief Pratt, who I talked to.
Young, but
yo, I was bro, I was covering dudes that I talk to on a daily now. You know, like, even though I'm a little bit older than them, those dudes I was like to cover. Then I did some work with Bounce Magazine. I've done some stuff with Dom magazine. So I've just been on the journalistic side for a long time. And my last journalism feature was with two. It was with NYCHoops.net and Unsigned Hype. Ooh. So I've been around, the game for a long time. So people know who I am. But when it comes to NYC Prospects now you see my face on live. So people are like, oh, Randy's the CEO. So a lot of those DMs that we get that, be having a ton of aggression and a ton of
how could you rank my school this way?
How can you? Yo, shorty, listen. I'm 6'2", 240. Just because you
with dreads.
With dreads. So just because you've, your cousin or your uncle or your aunt you used to read my stuff.
Don't mean you could pull up in here talking crazy.
Right. And the crazy thing is that nobody didn't know how I looked for real. So now when you see me, and then if you think about my name, right? My name sounds like I can be what? Like an accounting, I could be doing some business analyst stuff. Randy Millard.
Randy Millard.
I'm from Brownsville. What are you trying to say? Like this is my full name. But yeah, it's no struggles for real, Sway. It's just about just having fun and just keeping the integrity of basketball.
I like that because what you touched on was the media side of it. We'll definitely have our media discussion and all things media.
Right.
But the relationship between media and player, I touched on that myself, my last interview. And it seems like you pride yourself in that as well. Right. As you've gone through the years of these different publications, high level, low level, doesn't matter. And then now you're on the more of the social media wave with certain things.
Right.
How has that relationship, or how have you tried to maneuver that relationship as you've hold these different positions in different places?
So the one thing that I pride myself on when it comes to players and in the media in itself is boundaries that I cannot cross and I don't want to cross. Right? Because at the end of the day, everybody wants to break a story.
Type, yeah.
Breaking news.
First to do it.
Right?
Yeah.
But then there's our team with NYC Prospect. We know what's going on. But the thing is, we choose not to say anything because at the end of the day, we value what someone is feeling in the moment, right? So we could talk about what happened last year. We were getting phone calls about that all that week about what's going to happen or what should happen.
In reference to PSAL?
Yes. Okay. And in reference to that. But at the end of the day, it's easy for us to put out a post on our story, put it on our main page, let people know, this is what's going on.
Facts.
Not at all, because at the end of the day, a lot of stuff that's being put out there don't be true anyway.
Oh, there's no merit to it.
And there's no merit to it. And this is why when it comes to our platform and other platforms, people value our opinion because we actually care.
People getting their feelings about y'all opinion too, though.
Listen, man. It's the truth at times, It's the truth. And with us, why people really like us is that we're personable. Our team, for people who don't know, we're all educators. So our aspect on the game is different because our team either coached at a high level, played at a high level, or is behind the scenes at a high level. And that's just us.
One thing you told me when we was at one of NYC Prospects events over the summer, one of the sessions that they had. Right. I think I was in the day one session. I caught you a little cameo, and he was like, "We now get to see everybody's clipboard.
Yeah,
all these coaches' clipboards.
Yes, yes.
So
that's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah. I trust me, I'm gonna get to that conversation.
I know you are, and that's why I'm here.
But let's start with you though. In terms of, you did mention earlier that you coached at a JUCO. What's your coaching background? Is that something you wanted to do? I know you said you went to school for journalism, but coaching, is that something that still dear to your heart?
I can do it. Don't get it misconstrued. Don't think because I be on live with the guys talking basketball, like I don't know. There's some programs who still inquire about my services.
About your services.
You know what I mean? Because the thing about me was that when I was at BMCC, right, I was trying to get guys who was playing AA, A, and B on the Catholic and public side. Because the thing about trying to recruit a kid is this, just showing and not being scared. So I would encounter a ton of conversations. Oh, that kid is too high of a level for you. This kid can play here, and this kid, can play there. But I'm looking at the coach like, you can't coach. That's where I'm at. So who are you? But coaching, somebody asked me to coach like 2 weeks ago. I'm not going to say the school name.
Yeah, we're not going to put no pressure on these people.
I'm not going to say the school name, but somebody asked me though. And I was like,
Is it the love or is it just the location that had you that, if you could give that answer?
It's my professional trajectory. That's why I'm going, right? Because coaching is fun. Get it, right? Coaching, you know, I've done it. I've been coaching since I was 16 years old. I've been running leagues since I was like 24 to 25. So at least I kept myself in the game of basketball, right? So me coaching, I do it every day. I like you don't have to be on the sideline to coach.
That's a bar.
And that's where a lot of people begin it, you know, kind of messed up at. Because think about it, right? I could be coaching you on how to maneuver in media in the city. And I could also coach you how to maneuver in media nationwide. You know, so as people think of coaching, people think, you know, oh, you on the sideline, you screaming and you trying to recruit. No, I can coach you into becoming a better person. You know what I mean?
Facts. Yeah, trust me. I know certain people in the basketball community tend to forget that. I think people tend to just look at the ball bouncing, the highlights, the school, a couple politics involved in that, and forget that everybody's still human. Everybody still has feelings. Everybody still has opinions on themselves and others. So when it comes to the scene that we're in, where everybody almost has a opinion, which not every opinion should be valued, but it's somebody's opinion. When it comes to these things, whether it's a parent heckling a player from the other squad, a parent telling a student a parent telling a coach, put my son in, put my daughter in. Like, when it comes to those things in the New York City scene, where do you think parents or coaches, anybody that has an opinion for that, where do you think that some places where we kind of fall off the rails, where do we lose our sense of this is a game, these are still kids, these are still people?
So I have to sit up for this one because I just want people to understand pride and ego is crazy. You have to think about it. Social media is a gift and a curse. With NYC Prospects, I can honestly say we're a gift and a curse. Because at the end of the day, right, we post highlights. We post interviews. We post videos. So some people be like, yo, my kid my daughter should, this coach needs to. No. At the end of the day, the one thing people have to understand is this: once you start toning down your pride and your ego, things will work in your favor.
Oh man,
right? And it's and the reason why I say that because I'm gonna look in this camera, right? We have a ton of parents and a ton of student athletes and handlers and guardians, whoever you may be, right? You cannot be in our page DMing us things that we should do. With NYC Prospects, we're going to do it. And we're going to make sure it gets done. But the thing is, we know how to read. So a lot of your tone in your sentences, it be kind of being aggressive.
Throwing it off.
Please don't do that. But then it's more so like, I watch parents scold coaches. Coaching is a hard job.
Very.
Right? But then also playing is a hard job too. Because it's this. Now we live in an era where is that one click can change your life.
That one play.
That one play.
That one moment. Yeah.
That one time, it can change your life. But we also just need to have an understanding of once the community is together, everybody flourishes.
So, I mean, I think we both know the answer to this question, but the New York City community isn't together.
It's not.
Why do you think it's not together, and what can we do to potentially bring ourselves back to the golden era where everybody kind of messed with each other but knew that, okay, I still mess with this school over here, I mess with that school, but just in case, we still mans though. Like, when can we get back to that moment where the best of rivals could be at each other's cribs chilling, but when they see each other on the court, it's smoke?
So that actually still happens though. But we just don't see it. And the problem is that people create these false narratives and these false storylines. Like, this school don't like this school don't like that school, but both of the coaches hang out together and both of the coaches are friends. Their starting point guard and the starting wing on the other our cousins are related through a third cousin in a marriage, you know. And the thing, we speak about the golden era is occurring right now. We, like, honestly, we have to really think about how many kids are going to college to play basketball in New York City. So we can always elaborate and speak about the Division I. That kid ain't going D1. Boy, that kid ain't going D1. I watched the kid from Holy Cross go D2. And that kid, he was one of the most athletic kids in the city that we have seen in the past 5 years. We have to highlight everybody. we can't just highlight, the kids who just go in D1. Because at the end of the day, there's dudes who are older than us. Yeah, back in my day, it was 29 guys going D1. Well, for one, school was easier. You don't keep it a buck. Two,
the curriculum.
Hold on. Two, hello, clearinghouse, bro. There was such thing as the Prop 48. So it was dudes who were going who have to miss out a year to play. But yo, the golden era is still here. We have a bunch of young kids in this high school era right now who are pretty good.
Facts.
But the issue is this, right? Boom. I'm from Brooklyn. You're from Brooklyn. But this dude from the Bronx don't like nobody from Brooklyn. So I'm going to create a borough division. What's the purpose of doing that? When at the end of the day, if you want to keep it a buck, if we in service for all the kids, how about we service everybody? You know what I mean? Like, and then it's like all of these pockets of cliques. Oh, I don't like Sway. I don't like NYC Prospects. So how people do it is, people create group chats. Then people start blocking you. And then you see people in public and they're giving you 5, right?
Yo.
And after they give you 5, you already know how the energy is kind of off. And this is why, right? Mm-hmm. It's called intergenerational mentoring. This is why I wore this shirt. We all need mentors. Because at the end of the day, you can mentor me and I can mentor you. And it can be a better fucking place. Excuse my language, but yo.
You touched on this golden era, and I like how you said we're currently in the golden era.
Yes, we are.
When I talk to a person like a G Irv, when I first interviewed him 2021-ish, when we talk to a little bit older guys in that era, the mid-30s, a little older, they speak of the early 2000s a lot.
Right.
Why do you think that era is considered the first golden era, or the golden era everybody likes to go back to? And then why do you think that this era of kids, okay, let's go with the first question.
Go ahead.
Why do you think everybody refers back to the early 2000s as the golden era of basketball?
Well, I was in that era. I played at South Shore. Played sparingly. I had a subpar high school career. So I remember those days where basketball in New York City was at a like high level. And I'm talking about dudes were really playing basketball. But at the end of the day, right, it's easy for us to go back and say what the golden era was because we went through it and we played it, right? Opposed to us saying, you know what, back in the day, this is how basketball was. But how about we be honest, and that's for real here. The game of basketball has changed. So people have to change, that's with the times. And that's what I learned as a coach, right? Because think about it. Boom. Nobody wasn't Euro stepping in the early 2000s.
Triple step back.
Nobody wasn't doing that. Basketball in New York City is all about strength, playing tough, ruckus and raw. But now it's like the game of basketball is all about skill. Don't get me wrong. There were student athletes and ball players who were very skilled. But this era right here, they're doing things that we couldn't fathom on doing. But I'm the advocate of this. Listen to the kids, bro. You could speak about what happened in 2002. But how can your story from February 7th, 2002 can impact this kid now and make this kid into a better player?
It's hard because when they hear these old stories, they just be like, oh, this old mother effer doing this again.
But then it's all about approach.
I like that.
Right? It's all about approach. So, prime example, right? The reason why Gary, he get through his kids, because Gary was once his kids. And Gary know that, this was me when I was 16. This was me when I was 17. Not as a basketball player, but as a person. Right? So him fostering relationships and using his stories, he can get ahead with them. He can actually build a bond. Because these kids know if you fronting or not.
Facts.
There's this thing in life, it's called YouTube. They be on YouTube, they be on Google, they know, oh, coach, you was trash. How you gonna talk to me about this?
Some people, not to cut you, but some people would hear G Irv, like, I don't know if it's Deron Rippey, I forgot his name, but you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
He commented under MG3's post about Gary Irvin when he was at Robeson, and he goes, I found this was funny, he's like, Coach, I wasn't familiar with your game. G Irv comments, you thought I was telling you BS when I was trying to tell you stuff? And that's what it really come down to, though. Like, some of these kids don't know what it was like for some of their coaches who actually hooped at a high level, high school, college, overseas, whatever, they just don't know and they haven't done their research.
And we could talk about that now. So, like, example at Scanlon, Bavon Robin was nice. He played at Rice. He went to Fordham. Had a hell of a career, right? We can speak about Eagle, Brooklyn.
Facts.
Listen, what?
Yes.
They have like 4.
They got not.
They have.
They got.
Well, no, wait. They got 4 coaches who played. They got like 4 to 5 coaches who played at a high level.
Facts.
Then
across the levels of
all across levels. Then we can talk about South Shore. Coach Sean Mark, he played at a high level. You know, for some time, but Smoke was pretty good. You can talk about Lovelace at Boys and Girls, and Nolan. They played big time Division I basketball. Clyde at Severian, he played high level basketball. Billy, he played at York College. Rose played D2. Curtis Kelly played high D1. There's coaches who understand that's what they're talking about, but the kids have to grasp, you know, that's the message in itself. That's all it is.
Yeah, so we were just talking about the coaches,
Right.
Connections, listening to a coach, not knowing that your coach really played high level hoops. So then, how do we fix it? We spoke about the golden era.
Right.
So then now these kids now, like I said, do you think that these kids they have more access to more different moves, the creativity of the game? Do you think certain coaches are potentially trying to get their player or school back to what they know?
Okay,
not sticking with the times and just being more adapting with what's going on.
I have a quote for you. People need to listen to understand and not to reply. Have you been in a practice where you've seen a coach try to give instruction and the kid has something to say?
Oh, for sure.
Listen to understand and not to reply. But on the coach's side as well, don't talk at, talk to. So opposed to me, you know, saying, nah, and the kid is going to be like, yo, bro, like he's always screaming. This coach always screaming. But then at the end of the day, that's what you signed up for, right?
Yeah, so you should know your coach before you get there.
Right, so it's different. So now is this. Kids have to learn how to convey. That's the messages in itself. Because the message at time, it can be crystal clear to your point guard or your 2 guard, but the star player who might be the center, you might be complaining, but at the end of the day, bro, the message is crystal clear, just like your coach is fed up and your coach is just tired. Like, and people forget that coaches are human, bro. Your coaches are really human.
God. Tired is definitely an understatement, but it is the word.
Yeah, tired, bro. Tired.
So we spoke about the different eras. So what I want to switch to is the media side of coverage of those different areas. The 80s, the 90s, the 2000s, 2010s a little bit. No, 2000s were the more so magazine, newspaper era.
Right.
You see a guy on the cover, you think, you know, okay, he's putting on in his selective city or nationwide. But once the 2010s come around, 2020s is more social media, putting out more film, just putting out what's going on because people are not gravitating towards the high-level newspapers anymore.
Right.
How does what you do at New York City Prospects fit into that by any chance? Do you guys still view yourself as an old school with a new school mentality, or how do you guys bridge the gap even though you guys are older?
There's really no gap, honestly, to be bridged. Hoop is hoop if you think about it. Because, you know, that's when it comes to basketball, we speak about what happened in the 80s and the 90s to even now. But basketball is still that's being played, right? So, but when it comes to the media aspect of it, you see our page. We love the interaction. We love the conversation. We love to show people that you can hit us up and we will speak back to you. Because the funny thing is, excuse me, right? People look at social media as their television now. Yeah. And guess what we do?
Give them the entertainment.
We give them, it's not more entertainment. We give them what's needed, right? Because a lot of the stuff that we do, it comes from actual planning and truths, right? So boom, when it comes to our page, you can actually watch videos, right? People post us, people tag us, but then college coaches may call us and be like, yo, I see you post that kid. The first thing that we say is this: you can send us. We tell coaches, kids can send us all the videos in the world, but at the end of the day, you as the coach have to go
and do your homework
and see that kid.
Yeah.
Because some videos and some in-person things don't match up.
Oh, trust me, a kid could go 3 for 20 and still want them 3 clips posted.
Yeah, but that's honestly, it's cool, because at the end of the day is this, right? When it comes to editing, when it comes to ensuring that someone who paid for their services,
that too.
Has a chance to go play at the next level.
Mm-hmm.
That's where video content creators come into play. Is it the right thing? No, it's not. But is it helpful? Yes, it is. But then it's not helpful, because at the end of the day, the coach who watched the highlight, who's excited in their office, might lose their job because the video that was edited
is not what
the coach wanted. Yeah. So that's what it is.
Let's pivot a little bit. Since both PSAL and Catholic League ended in March, there's been a lot going on.
A lot going on.
A lot of things going on. I spoke about this with KK. He's on Eagle Brooklyn's coaching staff.
Sidebar: I knew KK since we was 11 years old.
That's tough.
That's my man's. And we always argue around February, March. And it's needed, though. It's needed. It's needed.
Always argue. I mean, it's playoff time.
But it's not more so playoff time. It's more so him like, yo, Randy, they be the KK. Y'all good.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. You're fine, KK. No, but people. KK, don't you have my number? That's my favorite line. Don't you have my number?
You can call me. You know that, right?
Yo, yeah, bro. It's my fault. All right. Okay, my fault, K. Whatever. All right, go ahead.
But in terms of that, when I interviewed him, he spoke about the transfer portal. I asked him about that. There's been a lot of transfers this year, some that have shocked eyes. Some people knew behind the scenes, just waited for the news to come out.
Right.
The state of the transfer portal, there's been a lot of transfers. Let's start with, I guess, the obvious. I ain't attacking you, Mr. Morton. I just want to hear your thoughts, because honestly, he's back in the game now.
Of course.
You saw him, well, not him, but you saw Cha-Ching, Spicy kind of propping him up during New York versus New York, wanted him to coach in summer ball again, and then he makes this move to Lawrence Woodmere Academy.
Yes.
Got Anderson Diaz, got a few other guys that I'm messing up names. It's a lot of y'all. I'm sorry, but he got a lot of guys to leave from where they were starting from.
Right.
And now they're going over there. Some people might not like it. Some people say it's rightfully so, knowing that he does have double-digit chips in New York City, city and state combined.
Right. Of course.
So when you see a guy like that make that move and get all these kids, what goes through your mind?
What goes through my mind is his pitch. Tiny's a great recruiter. You have to understand, Tiny done something that a lot of New York City high school basketball coaches can't say that they've done, right? Sebastian Telfair went to the NBA from Lincoln High School.
Type.
So, So now think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Tiny is a masterful, that's recruiter. Tiny has history. Mm-hmm. So a lot of their parents who have other family members who was like, yo, you play for Tiny, this can happen. Right? But the one thing I don't agree with what Tiny is doing is that you're taking kids from spots where is that they can actually make that program more competitive. Right? And then it puts people in a bad spot of like, damn, if I have a kid now I have to safeguard them. Now I have to hide them. Right? But then to Tiny's, masterful recruiting techniques, if the parents agree with it, why not? Kids are going to leave. Kids are going to leave. But it's messed up how it was like, certain names that I don't want to mention. It's like, yo, you was the starting point guard there. You was the starting wing there.
Or he was about to have the keys over here.
He was about to have the keys over here. But then it's this, like, resumes are everything to some. Because if you think about Tiny, like, yo, like, I have a ton of respect for Tiny. But what Tiny is doing, honestly, in the city, it's not good. You know what I mean? Like, it's putting a lot of kids in a place where is that if you don't cut it, do I have to leave again and go somewhere else? You know what I mean? But on the flip side is Tiny is going to be Tiny. Tiny coached at a high level, played at a high level, coached in college. He ran it up in the PSAL. He had fun. So Tiny knows how to win. But then it's like, damn, like you take a kid that is needed. Damn. That's what it's like, it's damn. But Tiny, listen, I'm proud of you. You back coaching, but it's like, yo, certain kids, Tiny, leave him alone. That's what I just, please leave him alone, Tiny. Please leave him alone.
It's almost like a respecting. We respect what he brings to the game and what he brought
Yes.
to the game, so we know what his impact and influence can do to a city
Yes.
in New York City or a school that he decides to bring his services to.
Yeah.
So,
And lastly, the one thing I could say about Tiny is this, right? He knows how to outwork you.
whew,
You know what I mean? I can name like 10 coaches, but I'm not going to name them on camera.
that's fine.
Who know how to just outwork you and get what they want when they want it. Because at the end of the day, it's like, yo, in order for you to win, you're not just coaching basketball only for the high school season. This is a yearly type of job.
So, okay, so now we swift from Tiny to the part of the transfer portal that some people might not like, or majority might not like. The backdooring, getting into a kid's head or their parents' head without
Right.
even really properly like respecting that they're currently at this school doing what they have to do. There are some transfers out there that there were backdoors. Of course, we're not going to speak on them right now, right here. But what do you speak to those that don't go about recruiting a kid the right way? Whether it's just catching a kid outside by himself when mom and dad not there or the coach is not with him playing at a summer game or something like that. Like, what do you feel about that?
I'm going to say this about kids. If kids think it's hot, it was 9 times out of 10 already on their mind. They was just waiting for someone to ask the question or have the conversation.
What about those that their parents made the final say?
And the parents have to make the final say.
True.
Because at the end of the day, it's all about influence, right? Think about it, that's like this. You play out of school, y'all kind of mid-level. But you know deep down inside in your heart and your mind that you can play in the 4A. You could play in the AA Catholic, right? And that one good game you had against somebody who plays in the AA or the 4A, 3A, 2A, 1A, wherever you at and wherever you want to go. If that coach comes to you, you probably in the back of your mind like, yo, I'm good at this. Why not try to test the waters? And that's what kids want to do at times. And then, it's all about, I can say this, it's all about recruiting, bro. It's all about what can your school provide that your school can't. Example, and I'm going to say this wholeheartedly. I feel like the city need better athletic directors in navigating the NCAA clearinghouse. Because there's no way we only have 3 players in the PSAL play at the Division I level. I'm not going to say the schools or the names, but it looks bad because at the end of the day, we're the largest public school network in the country, right? Yeah, and our athletic directors and counselors, it's not a slight, but we have to catch up with the times. Because think about it. There's a kid that's averaging probably 20-something. That kid is pretty good. Transcripts matter.
Oh.
And that's all I'm going to say.
Oh, yeah. We know that.
Transcripts matter.
We know that. For sure. For sure. We know that. Another thing with the transfer portal, OTE. Right? No disrespect to OTE. This is not an OTE bashing. This is more so of the way that they started. And, of course, Isaiah Washington, a.k.a. Jelly Fam, he has his own team in there. And he's taken 2 guys out of the Catholic League that he took out a backcourt. How about we just say there? Took out a backcourt that we thought was going to be raising hell again for another year or 2 in the Catholic League.
It's a fact.
So, granted, it is a New York City thing that Jelly Fam is in terms of the OTE landscape, but when we see guys leaving high school to go do that, is that something that we should frown upon, or should we take it with a grain of salt and understand that, okay, this guy or people may potentially have bigger dreams than what their high school can provide?
I'm going to say this. Decisions were already made already. Mind already made up. It's just a simple fact is that how you going to act on the opportunity. That's just what it is.
True.
So, like think about it. One of my OGs, he works for OTE. I'm not going to say his name. But I'm going to say this, though. He knows what he's doing. They know what they're doing. That's what OTE. Because at the end of the day is this. If they throwing out money at you that can ultimately change your life in a short span, are you going to take the money or not take the money?
It gives G League Ignite kind of vibes almost.
Yeah, it does, but then it's this though, right? We live in an era where it's this. If it's amplified and it's popping, it's lit. And this is why I used to always say this, to like my students. They were like, yo, it was packed. It was a movie. It was lit. Just because it was packed, it wasn't lit. It was just a lot of people there.
Yeah.
And that's what people have to understand. But then it's this, though. Man, listen. We could talk about the transfer portal, but I'm going to say this. We're the sole proprietors of the transfer portal. We started calling it. That's the transfer portal in New York City high school basketball.
Yeah, I mean,
we did, and we did it as a joke, right?
But then it really,
and then it really transcended into like something real, to something where like coaches be, yo, who's in the portal? Yo, who's in the portal? What? And I'm looking at them like, what? Then I'm like, yo, we not chasing kids with OSIS numbers. Get the hell out of here. We not doing that.
Like, what are we doing?
We not that.
Yeah.
We not doing that. But, it started off as a joke. I'm talking about, I forgot who the transfer was, but it was just a joke.
Mm-hmm.
Now you have other basketball platforms.
Yeah.
New York City High School Basketball Transfer Portal show.
That's a page?
No, I'm just saying.
Word, but I didn't know. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's what people be doing. Like, think about it. When it comes to NYC Prospects, everything is organic and fun. I mean, it's not nothing to be like, yo, we're going to be serious today. Yeah, we're serious all the time, but the transfer portal, it was done as a joke. Now look at it. Now there's a real transfer portal in New York City.
Like, we don't really know how to feel about it.
Right.
Does that speak on a lack of loyalty, though? By the kid, by the parents, whichever side you want to pick, does that scream lack of loyalty at all?
Lack of loyalty, yes, but then on the flip side, what can you do for me? And this is the era that we kind of lived in, right? Because think about it. What you've done for certain tournaments, certain leagues, you bolstered their what? Their
traction, their eyes on them, their following on social media, whatever you want to call it. Yeah.
So now was this. So when certain tournaments be like, nah, we can't deal with you no more. It's like, for what? I showed you the game. I showed you how to get it done. So now it was like this. When it comes to that, when it comes to loyalty, some of these parents be wanting to jump ship anyway. Some of these kids be wanting to jump ship anyway, because people like for what's hot for now. It's about setting the trend. And this is why, like, with the tide of New York City high school basketball, I like how it was going, because it's not like back in the day it was the same schools over and over and over. So back in my day, it was a Lincoln show. It was the Lincoln show. I'm talking about Tiny could have had his own show, for real. The Abraham Lincoln Show featuring
yeah,
Mary Bertram girls.
Yep.
Coach Ed won like 15 chips in a row. Now the game has changed. Now you got South Shore
got like 8-9.
South Shore got 8-9. Eagle Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Back to back. South Shore went 3 times. Boys and girls. Back to back, and they got states. So the game of basketball is changing, man. And guess what? A lot of those teams had transfers. Next question, please.
So, this was a little bit of a touchy subject at this time, but the whole PSAL situation. We don't got to get too deep into that, but
I'm gonna talk about it.
Oh, okay. When something like that happens to a couple of programs in the heat of playoff basketball, how much of a stain should that have done to a program, or did you think it did to these programs, knowing that these are high-level basketball programs, these are high-level just schools in name? How did you think that affected them in what will to come in the future, or is that just swept under the rug at this point?
It wasn't affect socially, because you have to think about the kids who, not even the kids. Think about the parents who wanted to send their kids there, right? So now it becomes telephone. This person saying this person saying that, and then you got the last person who just saying whatever what was told to them is telling the parent, right? So socially it looks bad, but on the PSAL side, bro, a decision had to be made, right? But at the end of the day, from us on the outside as looking in, should have been made then? Not at all. But it was made anyway, because people have to follow rules.
Very true.
You know what I mean? And then it's more so like this, because I know both schools, right, personally, both coaches, both programs. At the end of the day, things happen. And when things happen is that, the only thing that you can do is do what? Fix it. Change it up. And this is why this shit for NYC Prospects, create your storyline, is our motto. Because at the end of the day, what happened last year for us is going to stay there. To other people, it's not. Because, people going to bring out, all the situations that transpired. But at the end of the day, it's done. These kids deserve a shot. These programs deserve a shot. Something different, something new. It's a new year, that's for Christ's sakes. But it's like, it was frowned upon amongst the nation, though. Yeah.
So, in terms of the results of that, Eagle Brooklyn taking home their championship in the boroughs and in the cities, but not really getting to play anybody for that last game or so, or just there's a lot of confusion going on. Should they be? Is there an asterisk against them winning?
Jokingly, yes. Because at the end of the day, it's like, big shout out to their head coach. I'm not going to say their name. Everybody know
who their head coach is. Yeah,
he wanted to play the game. He wanted to play the game despite what was transpiring. And I like that. Because there's other coaches who would be like, nah, I take it. No, he actually wanted to play. Both parties wanted to play, actually. Just play the game. And then after that, the infractions are the infractions. But this is where I hope the PSCL takes that whole NC2A approach. Have a compliance office. Have some compliance officers. Sorry. Yeah, start having, people
that are actually doing their due diligence.
And that's the problem, because at the end of the day, it was becoming a buddy system at one point. Allegedly and according to coaches in the PSCL, it was too much of that's my man's. Oh, I knew him forever.
That's trash. But
OD, but it works like that sometimes, which is bad, but it's good for certain people.
Definitely for certain people. As we keep it going, pushing it forward, I think we're flowing real nice here right now. I think some people might be upset. Some people, it doesn't really matter to me.
Right.
But in terms of this 2-clap report that you got going on.
Do you want the... All right, ask the question. Matter of fact, let me tell you how the 2-clap report started.
Okay, all right, talk to me.
The CEO...
Shout out him.
In 2 claps, OG Tone. He's been coaching basketball forever. He coached at the collegiate level, pro level, high school level.
Shout out him too.
We went on a staff dinner one night, and the conversation was just like this. We're going to start ranking teams in New York City. Tone was against it, super against it. I don't want to do it, yada, yada, yada. So the CEO and I, he was like, yo, why not? So, after the bill was paid at the restaurant where we was at, he said he'll do it. I was there. He said, boom. He's with it, right? Then now, peep game. Then we had the conversation with Dave. Cha-ching.
Shout out, yeah.
We had the conversation with him and the conversation with Jaden. And then boom. The most watched Instagram live on Monday nights in New York City high school basketball. And that's how it started. It all started off of an idea and a conversation, bro. That's how it started.
Well, okay. Everything starts off that way. Was the pushback because the pushback that you guys got within internally, as you guys discussed, was the pushback sort of kind of because what the reactions you may get afterwards, after this thing comes about, after you drop these lists? Is that what that person was kind of referring to?
That was a factor, and another factor was this, right? Which is mad funny. This stuff is a lot of work.
Trust me.
And a lot of people don't understand that. Understand this, right? We're at these games, and we're watching the game. Like, we're not there to, yo, son, what's good? To have 1,000 conversations.
We locked in,
Nah, we're locked in. Like, we're focused. Every time we walk in gyms, you're going to see it one day. People will try to gravitate towards us and ask us 1,000 questions. Bro, we're here to have a conversation about basketball and watch the game. So a lot of games that we were going to, we were really ranking those teams. And we watch schedules and we watch records, non-league and league games. So we're not just out here saying this school is number 1 because of they're undefeated. No, a school could be undefeated. You could be number 2 because your schedule sucks. and you didn't play nobody.
Strength of schedule. That's real NCAA stuff right there.
That's us though.
Word. Nah, I respect that because some people probably look at y'all rankings like, how would y'all? Yeah,
bro. Yeah. Brandon Stores and Todd Turnage don't like us right now.
Oh, I saw that comment. I'm not gonna lie. I had to dap up Todd Turnage in summer ball. He was because of course with the whole dog. Everybody looks at me as a Nas guy and Nas guy only. That's not really what it is, but it is what it is.
Of course.
I respect their games wholeheartedly. I have never a problem with them. But of course, with the trash talk that happens between Rays and Nas, it gets kind of. And so I had to dap him up the other day. I'm like, yo, you keep killing King, but I know they don't like where they. It's funny how they don't. Y'all lost though. I'm just saying the way that ranking was.
But Sway. But I'm gonna tell you what's the funniest part about those rankings is that it don't be the student athletes. It don't be the players. It be the handlers. It be the family members who be wilding. Oh, that's crazy.
That one pops.
My son. Yeah. My son did this, did that, bro. Hold it down, please. Because at the end of the day, your energy on your iPhone 7S is totally different when you see us in person.
Yo,
you know what I mean?
There's for lifers.
But the thing is, I like the for lifers though. I'm gonna tell you why I like them, because when it comes to our platform, they're very respectful and they don't get out of line. Because it's not just me, it's not just the CEO, not just Tone, not just Dave, not just Jaden, who are involved with the 2 Class Report. Raslam, he's a part of us too.
Shout out Slime.
You know what I mean? He be telling, yo, son, this. Yeah, I know. But our team is strong. You know what I mean? And we do a great job because we actually have real relationships with these players and these coaches and these programs. You know what I mean? So Todd Turner's aunt calls me. My nephew's not talking to you until the season's over. I said.
I mean, Ty could hit us up and say it himself, but.
So I hit Todd. I was like, damn, son, you gonna talk to me until March? I know he's probably like, yo, I'm playing, You know what I mean? It's cool, man. It's fun, man. It's fun. It's for the kids. I just wish that some adults would scale back, and just make it about the kids, not about them.
You think it's a problem that some adults care more about certain things than the kids? Or is it okay that the kids are more reserved about
I'm going to tell you what it is. Adults make it that way because they feel like these kids are voiceless. When these kids are not voiceless.
At all.
These kids, listen, you want to talk about Nas basketball? Joseph Jennings' mom's, Miss Erica.
Oh, shout out Miss Erica Jennings.
That's my girl.
Yo,
she's thorough.
Very.
You know what I mean?
Not just her, the family.
The family. Because you know what it is with JoJo? JoJo's sister played D1 basketball.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, she was nice.
I'm gonna dap up for real.
She was dead nice.
Like me and her cool, but I'm gonna dap up for real next time I see her.
Yeah, she's the hoop. And the crazy thing is, all right. The coaching thing, right? Just real quick. I'm gonna tell you who I'm gonna tell you who I used to coach. I used to coach Halon.
When?
Brooklyn Bridge, years ago.
Middle school vibe?
Middle school. Halon, JoJo. I didn't coach. I was in the same program with Chris Jeffrey, Jakai. Who else I coached? I coached Justin Delgado from Nas.
Shout out Just.
I coached Trevor Lewis from Jeff. Boy, I coached a lot of these kids who people think, yo, that's my little man. No, that's really my little man.
That's really my little man.
Facts. You know what I mean? I used to run a community center in East New York. I'm not an op, but it was the NYPD Community Center, right?
I'm mad that you just said I'm not an op.
Nah, because the climate with NYPD and us with civilians is crazy. But do you know who used to come to the gym and work out? Eric Acker. I used to have Eric Acker in the gym. EA Sports, you scrub. Man from Jeff, he used to come in the gym.
Hopefully my boy's recovering nicely. You see him next season.
I told you after this offline.
Word.
I used to have Connor Spratley in the gym.
Shout out Connor.
That's from time to time. So a lot of these dudes who you see, I know them. I coached Caden Richards, who transferred from Nazareth South Shore. Yeah, so
Caden Francis?
Francis.
That's all right. Yeah,
Caden Richards is from Team Crate. That's my little man. But yeah, a lot of these little dudes, when I was coaching, I know them as people. Alonzo Archibald, Curtis. I know what it's hitting for. You know, that's what a lot of these kids, man. So it's like my relationships with them is different. You know, I'm Uncle Randy. Yo, Unc, what's up? Yo, what's up, bro?
Mm-hmm.
Yo, you good? Yeah, I'm fine. You know, I'm just, all right, good. Yo, I'm going to see you my schedule. All right, cool, I'll pull up. You know what I mean? But adults are, like, doing too much. And the adults are making them about themselves. And these kids are not voiceless. It's just that with these kids, some of these kids feel like you're corny as an adult. And it sucks to say that, but some of these kids are mature and they know how to articulate themselves.
One thing I do realize is certain guys in the basketball scene, women, girls as well, they are forced to mature a little bit quicker than others.
Yes.
Because of what's at stake for them professionally, collegiately.
Right.
How is that good or bad? Because there's the maturing in just people in high school. We know how that goes. Teenage years, finding out yourself, your body, all of that stuff. But then going from basketball, hooping every day, practicing every other day, 2 a days, whatever, to then also dealing with the fact that you're growing up, but you have to grow up quickly because there's a bunch of different faces in your face at different times. How is that a good thing for someone in the high school realm to mature quickly because of their atmosphere and their potential?
In order for you to level up, you have to have a level of discipline. And that starts in the home. But that also starts with you. Because at the end of the day, you have to learn how to become self-sufficient. At the collegiate level, you may have a guide from your trainer. You had to do 1,000 push-ups by the summer end. You got to make 2,000 jump shots. You have to do that and to get where you want to be. And think about New York City in itself. Bro, there's kids 7, 8 years old taking a bus to school by themselves, taking a train to school by themselves. We are the latchkey kids, right? So it's like, yo, us maturing, it comes from the city that we live in. It comes from the environment that we actually grew up in. It comes from us seeing things that we shouldn't be privy on seeing, but we see. But it starts with discipline. It starts in the crib. It starts with you having your own idolization of how you want to be and what you want to do. Some of them kids do. Some kids don't. Even some adults don't. You even have kids raising their parents.
That's heavy.
It's for real, you know. Because at the end of the day, it's like, bro, we live in a city, right? This is real. You can get anywhere you want to be in 24 hours.
Literally. It may take you long, but for different options, but yeah.
Right. And then we have parents, right, who actually let kids jump off the porch. Example of the day. I'm not supposed to be saying this, but I'm going to say it. Yo, when I was 11 years old, I was the kid with the brown paper bag with the note inside of it. Give it to the guy at the store. Don't even look in the bag. Just bring it back. You know what I mean? But it's different now because it's like, yo, now we got cell phones. You can't look at what your mother texts you. Don't open that text until you get to the store. Such and such, here, take the bag, you walk out. It just requires a level of understanding and discipline, bro. That's all it is. Idolization. Where you want to go, where you want to be, what you want to do. And this is why I ask kids questions when it comes to just them being as individuals and people. How's school? How's classes going? How are you feeling? What's new? Dudes be like, yo, son, I saw you play the other day. Yo, son, I need you to play with me in this. Basketball is not their everyday life.
Yeah. And one thing that you touched on, you was like, the kid might think the older person is corny, whatever it is. You could see that in certain media as well, certain media people that they fuck with or not. You could see that in the kids. Like, kids be like, yeah, I don't really like this person. I'll go holler at this person. I got some of that when I started because, of course, nobody really knew who I was. I was more so with the older guys and all of that.
Yeah.
So kids definitely pay attention in how you report if you're a media person or you're just a parent, coach, whatever.
Right.
That brings me to this, though. In terms of the landscape, are you street ball connected? You're fairly watching street ball. Yes, no, maybe.
I'm very street ball connected.
Very street ball connected. All right, just have to let
big shout out to the guys who play street ball.
How much do you think the street ball community, the game, adds or takes away from high school hoops or just the basketball community in general? I know that was a little bit of a two-part. But
with that question, which is a great question, and I got to sit up for it, it's kind of 50-50, right? And the thing about street ball is we can't let our student athletes create the bad habits that some of their street ball teammates have, right? That's one. But the one thing I like about street ball is it makes you tougher. It gives you another insight and intel of the game of basketball. If we look at Connor played unlimited in Gersh, right?
Gersh, Zone 6.
And he had a blast.
Tight.
But the thing is this now. Are we hoping that it transitions to the high school level? Mm-hmm. That's all you can hope for. Because playing unlimited isn't bad. I played unlimited at 16, 17 years old. I was the kid, I'm in the gym, play. I bet. You get dressed. You got to figure it out. Learn how to get the spots. Learn what and what not to do, right? But the thing about unlimited is, just watching them bad habits be created, and I can't stand it. And we also just need to be more cognitive on the environments at times that we put our high school students in, because they're very easily impressed. And they think that it can transfer over to playing at their high school, which 9 times out of 10 may be tolerated or may not be tolerated. You know what I mean?
Yeah, certain coaches are going to stand for that, and certain coaches will not let that happen in their system.
I know a coach who stands on business. That's a whole fact.
But also another thing in terms of that, there's also this discussion of, not discussion, but there's a thing where hoopers is like, there's certain hoopers that play indoors, and there's a certain hoopers that can cross over to the streets and have no problem doing both.
Right.
Should a guy like, just to use it for example, a guy like Halon, because I remember last summer, the only street ball he touched was New York versus New York.
That's a fact.
And he told me before the summer started, he's like, I'm not touching that street ball stuff. Like, I did it this previous summer. I'm not touching it this summer. It's mainly working on this, working on that. Should hoopers adopt that mindset of only sticking to one side, or should they continue to keep both? Because there's the health part of it. They always talk about your knees on the street ball court.
Trust me, I know. Man, I just felt my knee crack just now.
So, when guys have real life potential, not to really separate those guys from the average player, but when those guys have that type of risk involved, is there executive decision that needs to be made?
New York City basketball is where you're battle tested. So you playing on the hardwood and on the concrete, it doesn't really differ. It's just materials that's on the floor, on the ground, right? Example, Kemba Walker at Rice, he played in 155th. Corey Fisher at St. Pat's, he played in Watson. It just depends on who you are as a person. Because at the end of the day, you can get hurt even worse playing on the hardwood than the concrete. Yeah. But the thing is about you being a New York City high school basketball player, you grew up on concrete, you still going to play on concrete, and you're just going to have to tweak your game from playing on the hardwood and playing on concrete. And it's like even playing in the park, right? There's parks that have double rims. There's parks that have triple rims. But then you play in a gym and there's a single rim. You just got to tailor your game to win, to make you look good, either on the concrete or on the hardwood.
All right. Next question. Now I think this is the part of the conversation where we can have a little bit more fun. Talk about some things that might ruffle some feathers. I don't know if this is part of the 2-clap report, but can I get top 5 coaches in the city?
Top 5 coaches in the city?
I don't know if this was about to be a part of your 2-clap report, but I got some names involved, but I need to know.
We stick away from that.
Ooh, okay.
And the reason why we do, because we're actually friends of these coaches.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
I do know that.
And it's it's funny because we're actually doing an NYC Prospect Coaches Day. All the coaches going to hang out. We're just going to converse and think and try to create solutions on how to make the game better, right? And it's funny how we talk about top 5 coaches, right? But I'm going to speak about coaching in general. Right, I spoke to a coach last night, and the coach said that the PSAL coaching in the 3A is better than the 4A, right? But then peep game, right? Now I'm about to have you thinking. Then a coach in the Catholic League said the coaching in the A is better than the coaching in the double A, right? So understand this, right? And this is where it's crazy. And the PSAL 4A is talent, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Catholic school double A is talent, right?
Yeah.
And the 3A and the PSAL and the A and Catholic is what?
Is lesser talent, but coaches have to coach that lesser
Right.
talent to get to where they have to get to.
So the hard question about the hard answer about that question is this, bro. There's 1 trillion coaches in the PSEL and Catholic combined, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, boom, you say this coach, you say that coach, because it's all just opinion based, right? So it's like this. We know who the good coaches are, and we know who the bad coaches are.
Who got that clipboard and who can't even draw up a play on the clipboard?
Yeah, but then the game of basketball, for some coaches, you might not need a clipboard.
I'll agree to that.
Because it's this, right?
I'll agree to that.
If you practice how you play or how you want to play, you can just call out sets.
And they'll know if they
12,
if they-
9.
Yeah. If they've been listening and y'all been doing right in practice, that's a 1, 2, 3.
Right. But the better coaches, and I'm gonna look in the camera, the better coaches work all year round. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah.
That's all you can say, right?
Yes.
That's all you can say.
They do. Yes,
You know what I
they
mean?
do.
The better coaches work all year round.
All right, so this is a subject I know you might have some heavy opinions on. Brands. Brands in terms of the high-level brands that are in New York City hosting whatever events. You know the type of events that they have.
Of
the
course.
corporate brands that, from my understanding, sometimes they may take from a guy like you, a guy like me, a guy like other people that have made waves in the New York City community,
Right.
but don't have the platform or money or just the right opportunity to take their ideas and put it on the corporate branding scale. Do you think that these brands are paying homage to you guys' ideas or just straight up stealing at this point? Because they could have just hired you. They could have just brought you in.
I got the perfect analogy for this.
You feel me? So what's your take on that? When you see your ideas that you've probably spoken to somebody or you literally had in your head or you already doing,
Right.
being done by a corporation that never did it before.
I'm gonna say this. We're the fashion stylists, and we dress them apart. They're our mannequins. Because at the end of the day, right, I want you to wholeheartedly understand, and the viewers and fans who watch this, we set the trends. We are the culture. There's some people affiliated with those brands or even employed who aren't from the city. Some are, some aren't.
Yeah, that's the thing I pay attention to as well. Yes.
So it's more so them just getting advice from people who are employed, who are from the city, but those people tap in with who?
The city.
Us.
Type.
And they watch who? Us. So it's more so like when I was teaching, right? I would tell kids like, yo, when y'all wear these Nike Techs and these Asics, where y'all getting this from? Oh, a rapper wore it. You guys are walking advertisements. Like us, we're advertisement. But the thing about us is we're like No Limit. We love being independent. You know what I mean? And people want to collab, but it's all about people putting their pride and egos to the side and wanting to get it done.
See,
Go ahead.
there's a lot of pride and ego in this business.
Yes, it is.
Whether it's the street ball level, the corporate level, the school level. It's a lot of pride and ego. How much pride and ego have you had to deal with
It's every day.
every day?
Yeah. And it's every day, you know, that's to the point where real recognize real, and some of these guys are looking real familiar, right? So like a example of the day, right? Boom. We do an event that everyone knows is one of the hottest events in the city.
Mm-hmm.
It's called the Sunday service.
Church.
And we do it on a Sunday on purpose. There's some people who try to emulate and be like, oh, come to my workout. It's called the Sunday service. Bro, don't do that. Because at the end of the day, it's like, you may think that name is dope or it's popping, right? But the whole Sunday service idea came from us wanting to give back to PSAL schools. So our first Sunday service was at the Barclays. 7 games on a Sunday, popping, right? And it was really like to show our student athletes, like, you don't gotta wait to make it to the chip to play in a Barclays. You could play right now.
Yeah.
Then we did our second Sunday service at the Major R. Owens Health and Wellness Community Center, right?
Mm-hmm.
We did a whole community give back / kind of fair, you know. So we had local entrepreneurs who sold goods and products, you know, certain community educational brand based organization, you know, speak about, you know, that's their services.
Mm-hmm.
That's the purpose of the Sunday service. It's not just a name. We actually do stuff behind it. Our last Sunday service, you know, it was at Severian, right? And we kind of stole like the whole like movie presentation moniker, and that worked well because we put a couple programs on the map, and one of those programs just got a Jordan Brand deal.
Shout out. Word.
Big shout out to Coach Hood. He know. I'm not even gonna say the school name, man.
But we know.
Coach Hood, Coach Ballerini, Coach Will.
As we wind down, there's things about New York City that get me upset. There's interactions between different people that get me upset. Mm-hmm. The disconnect between older people and younger people, we've talked about that, is another thing that gets me upset. But what gets you upset? Something that you just can't shake it, that's been going on, or that keeps repeating, that like, damn, like I wish if this wasn't always happening right now, we could do things a little bit more smoothly.
What gets me upset is the bad advice that's given to student athletes and parents, and they actually follow it, and then they'll try to circle back and be like, oh, I should have listened. At the end of the day, right, a lot of decisions are made off of temporary emotions, but they become permanent decisions. So that's one thing that grinds my gears. And it's another thing that grinds my gears is the adults not being honest with themselves and trying to like stir kids into situations that they can't flourish in. You know what I mean? So like example, right? I'm not going to have you try to flip your whole style, you know, in regards to you reporting, in regards to your network. I'm not going to have you do that. But we have people who say, oh, if I was you, I would do it like this. Well, why would you say that when at the end of the day, you never done it?
You never tried.
You never tried. You know what I mean? And then another thing we got to stop doing is lying. Basketball, people be lying. Oh, I'm going to help Shorty get to this level. You don't even know the grad assistant at that school. You don't know nobody at that school. All you did was DM the coach. Yo, I've been speaking to the coach from this university. Yeah, the coach is a personable guy. I know the coach personally. He's only talking to you because he thinks you're a fan, honestly. You know what I mean? And it's like, with you, the one thing I love about you is that you never strayed away from who you are, right? And there's some people in this industry and with this content creating and this basketball, you know, thing that we're doing, people have put themselves in a situation that is not them. And people confuse with leveling up to looking stupid. If that's not your mold, don't do it. But some people try to break the mold, right? Like, honestly, and I'm going to say this wholeheartedly, I think we're the best basketball media, multimedia platform in New York City. I'm not going to say off numbers, because at the end of the day, right, numbers don't really define who you are. Programs always want to play in our stuff. Parents love our stuff. And you never hear anything bad about us.
Yeah, I trust me, I don't. Trust me, I don't.
You know, and it's like, I was talking to Mellow Films and Steve and the whole Abnormal Creative, right?
Shout out them.
I love those dudes. Nate Blue, I love him to death. I love Nate. I love Dave. Jaquam, Basketball Heads. Who else am I missing?
Shay Days.
Shay Days. Baller's Journal. All Things Hoops. You know, we just all, and even if I'm missing more, we just need to come up with our own network.
But in terms of that, there is a little bit of competitive thing with
it is
with fellow media guys. I can definitely say it's there.
I mean, but not with us, because everybody, hello.
Yeah, word.
Yeah, I mean, because I mean, like, think about it. This is the best story ever. Toby Akawaka, when he was playing at Cardinal Hayes, right? My man's like, yo, come with me to go see Toby at Iona. Like, I speak with Toby from time to time. Toby's my little man. Mm-hmm. The gym is quiet. Toby's at the line. He made the first one. Toby! Toby sees me, and Toby does this. Like, he's hyped to see me. Like, oh. After the game, he see me. Yo, thank you for coming to this, to that. That's genuine. You know what I mean? Another example, Boogie made my business partner, Kim from Bowling Out Loud, he made us drive all the way to Stepinac for a game last year. And after the game, he spoke to us for like 45 minutes. Him and his father and his teammates just thanking us, right? Because at the end of the day, we foster genuine relationships. You know what I mean? If you hear anything bad about us, it's just pure hate, which is okay because everybody goes through it. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, it's like, yo, man, like, I feel like we can still compete, but let's work together. It's not hard to do.
At all.
It's not. You know what I mean? And the reason why it's needed because we're pushing content. Like Corey Underwood, when he follows our page, right? Mm-hmm. Corey Underwood commented on our page, content that matters. And that's what we do. You know what I mean? Like, all of your interviews are A1. That documentary with Nazareth is fire. I sat in the crib and watched every episode.
Appreciate you.
And it's dope because you're getting people to see another aspect of the Nazareth basketball program. A lot of people look at Gary, they may not like Gary or may not like Mike. Who cares? But at the end of the day, bro, you watching them you watching their coaching staff interact with them young men, it makes you have a change of heart. You know what I mean? And I wish, honestly, a lot of videographers or, I don't know what you call yourself.
Mm-hmm. Sports journalists.
That's
what I call myself, yes.
I wish they follow your motto and your work, because at the end of the day, we need to see more mini docs of schools. Mm-hmm. We need to see that. We need to see what New York City is. You know what I mean? And this is where, like, us having a network, it'll be dope. Because it's like, yo, you can have your own show. We got our own show.
Yeah, cause I'm like, I know you about to drop a podcast. I know.
Say, oh yeah, Down to the Wire.
I know you about to drop a podcast.
Work. You know what I mean? Me and Adonis. Sages Media.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Dre is amazing.
Yeah, I met him. Which I guess was one of my coming out parties for high school hoops in New York City. Mm-hmm. The PSAL Boroughs when they beat Eagle Bronx. And
when was that?
I think that was 22. Was that 22? What was that? That wasn't the one that just passed. It was the one before that. It was when Poppy and
that was when Jefferson
ran.
They ran down on Jaden Zimmerman.
Yeah,
Sorry, Rose, but I remember that night like it was yesterday. Boy, y'all was up. Oh.
Yeah. That was one of my like coming out parties because I interviewed them afterwards, and the opposition didn't really like it too much because they were talking trash. It is what it is.
Yeah.
But I met him that day. I met him. Because I always saw the plot when you're in the media space, when you see new media start to pop up the woodworks, you're like, oh, who's this? Right. Met him, shook hands with him. I was like, oh, that's a great platform. You guys are doing something that I had an idea about. I just didn't have the means to properly. I had the idea that they're doing for Eagle Brooklyn is what I had for Streetball. Yeah,
but then is this though, right? The one thing about Dre is because Dre's one of our business partners. Mm-hmm. So our partners are Sages Media. Mm-hmm. Varsity Customs, Ballin' Out Loud, Perimeter Sports. You about to be with us soon. Don't worry about that. Just keeping it a
Some
buck.
people gonna look at this and be like, "Oh yeah."
Yeah. I mean, it's about us just having an understanding of like collabing and making the city look good. This is why I love Puff.
Oh, Puff. Yo, he started his design. Like I've met him in person at one of these Eagle games, but I don't think we've ever shook hands. I just know who he was.
I knew Puff when Taj was in.
That's his uncle or his son?
That's his son.
I said uncle or son.
It's okay.
Yeah,
I mean, Taj is taller than Puff.
So,
and I'm gonna tell him I said he's gonna be crying. It was an episode we was on live. I was working in Far Rockaway for the Child Center of New York. I ran a community center. So, you know, I used to close the door because I used to have to stay there till 10, and I just go on live. And my exact words were, there's a kid from Bishop Loughlin who transferred to Eagle who's going to help Eagle get over the hump. Everybody in the live like, oh, Taj is all right. He's not going to do this. All right.
All right. Yeah.
But listen, Jaden Zimmerman, right? And then I'm going to try to, you know, finish the show with you because I'm about to put you on how many players that we exposed the city to, but people already know, right? But we just enhanced it. Jaden Zimmerman, right? Jay, you know, a lot of people didn't know him, but people knew him. So with the NYC Prospects Summer League, it used to be done at, not used to, but it still can. It was at St. Edmunds. Jaden Zimmerman, that was his coming out party. Everybody was like, yo, who the hell is this? Jaden Zimmerman. So you remember that time when you hear about, oh, Jay-Z,
Yeah,
right?
facts,
Cool.
yeah.
You remember that time we was covering St. Joe's by the Sea. Anthony Graziano and Chris Greeley played against Coach Rose and Eagle Bronx in our chip. Coach Rose looked at me and said, these are some of the baddest I've seen. And we was pumping Chris Greeley and Graziano. But at the end of the day, we pump a lot of people like that. You know what I mean? We just want the city to look good. People may not agree with it. You know, people, oh, that kid is not good. Why y'all pumping him like that? At the end of the day, other states do it.
And people talk about our state more than some of these other states sometimes. So why can't we? Yeah.
This is the Mecca. And I realized this was the Mecca, and I'm going to say this, right? When you have players from other cities and states wanting to play in New York versus New York because it's in New York, bro, that's just a testimony of our city making things look good. The slam event is where at?
Oh my God.
It's in New York.
Rutgers,
It's in New York.
Yeah, I was thinking of the exact location.
Bro, hold on. I'm not finished. Elite 24 was where? It was in New York. And it took time off and it came back.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, it did.
We as a city have to embrace that. Like me, I love it.
Jordan Brand Classic.
Barclays
Center.
Barclays.
Yeah.
But it started where at though? I'm testing your knowledge. Let me see. Started at the Garden. I was working for NYHoops.com back then. And that's when I seen, guess who?
I didn't know that.
Live and direct.
I thought it was a different spot. I didn't know that.
There's a kid named Kyrie Irving.
A kid.
Big shout out to Coach Kamani Young. He did an event called the Sherette Dixon Memorial Classic. He would have the best players from New Jersey play against the best players from New York City. That game I went to was at Bishop Ford High School. Do you know in the backcourt it was Kyrie Irving and Kyle Anderson? And this is stuff that, right?
Kyle Anderson.
And this is stuff with me being 38 years old, me being privy to cover events such as that. ATM Live when it was at Millbank. Fire. I remember when Housing, it was one of the better tournaments in the city. You know what I mean? Stephon Marbury was a dope tournament. Nike Swoosh, all that stuff might have to come back. Even though it was a part of our golden era, it still has an imprint on New York City high school basketball history. You know what I mean? Like somebody was like talking about ISA. Oh, ISA is not the same because the game has changed. You know what I mean? I remember ISA, bro, them hitters was there. But guess what? We still have hitters there. We still have the young kids who need to see older and familiar faces. You know what I mean? Because we get caught up in the age gaps. So like example, I'm 38. You probably like what?
26.
12-year gap. Whoop-did-he-do, right? But I can learn from you as well as much you can learn from me. And that's how we have to we have to view it, bro. Because we could talk about the golden era all day. I experienced it. I played in it. Then you can go further down. You know what I mean? They experienced it. They played in it. We can go down the years, down the line. But at the end of the day, how can we help these kids now? Because you could talk about what you did at St. John's in '93.
What you doing right now? Or are you still hanging on to that Old fame.
And that's the problem that we have in New York City. Like me, I averaged 2.1 points a game at South Shore High School. But I've done more than dudes who've won states and cities. Like my team, and I'm bragging about this shit wholeheartedly, we transformed New York City high school basketball in the past 3 to 4 years.
And it's crazy because those 3 or 4 years is like the 3 or 4 years that I've started in this. And like when I started seeing your platform, I'm like, oh, this is where everybody's, oh, they do this. Oh, they do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not just speaking hot air.
Yeah, like listen, like, and the for lifers, I know one of them, I talk to him every day. And it's not just about basketball. He's admitted, like, yo, you guys have really done something for the city that people love. Because it's needed. With the New York Post, you know what I mean? Back in the day, that's my guy Zach and Dick Weiss when he was at the Daily News. There was the Mike Quicks, there was the Tom Skakowskis, all those guys, right?
Yeah, I know some of those names, yeah. Fact.
We're up next. You're up next. I'm up next. Nate Blue's up next. Mello, all the content creators, we're up next. We just have to cultivate, the city in the right direction. Because at the end of the day, bro, do you know how many kids were fiending to stay home to watch MSG High School Weekly? I was one of those kids. I was one of those young student athletes in 8th grade. Like, damn, they talking about the Holy Trinity. Talik Brown, Andre Barrett.
And it's crazy because when I'm coming
Omar
up in high
Cook.
school, there's no channel for that anymore.
There was no channel.
Yeah, the closest thing I got to like New York City like fandom and hoops was when Slick was in high school. Because that era was probably like a year or two off from me. When he was in high school, I was hearing about Slick. It was the Facebook era. Everything's on Facebook. His point totals and all that is on.
In Slick we trust.
You feel me? He's on freaking MTA buses. Feel me? So like that fandom was the closest I got to that. What you're speaking of.
And Shamari, right? I know Shamari as a person.
Yeah, I met him too. Yeah,
Shamari's one of the coolest dudes.
He need to get up in the chair though. I ain't gonna lie.
I'm gonna talk to him about it. So
I ain't gonna lie.
So
that's all I'm gonna say.
With Shamari, right? One of his dad's closest friends is my man, and they all, we all cool, right? So when I was working at a middle school, I would do an event like a basketball invitational. My man calls me. He goes, "Yo, I'm bringing Shamari through." I didn't even say nothing. I'm gonna tell you what happened. He walks in the gym, is like this. There goes Slick Maury,
Yo,
Slick
bro,
Maury.
it was bad out there.
And the transition, that conversation and that statement, I'm gonna tell you who honestly has the same fan effect. Anderson Diaz.
Oh man, nah, because in the city playoffs in March recently, it's like he had his own section.
He had 150 people in shifty shirts.
Yo, bro, and it was like
Isaiah Washington had that fan effect.
God, yes.
Mel has
Mel has that same effect. He has 6th, 7th, 8th graders. He got kids older than him talking about him.
Boogie has that effect.
Yes, my little cousin saw one of my videos and said, "Yo, bro, you just recorded Boogie Flan?" I said, "Yeah, bro.
He's cool.
He is." He's a high school kid just like you.
Captain Jack, the whole Elijah Moore with the elbow thing.
I'll chop him, man. Word.
But then there's this though. Way before that, when you had Thomas Jefferson and Boys and Girls, right? With the Jaquan Lynches and the Thaddeus Halls and the Mike Taylors and the Antoine Slaughters.
Yeah, you giving me names that I ain't even see him hoop, but I know.
Rashard Andrews, Joel Ingus, those type of guys, right? They had that same fanfare, but it's more amplified now because it's this. We got phones.
I could just record it.
We can just record it. Like, example, I'm going to tell you where I coached at, and you might be like, no way. I coached at South Shore.
Oh, you actually coached at South Shore?
I was with Mike Beckles and
What year
Sean
what years?
I was there during the Terrence Samuel era.
Oh, shit.
Terrence Samuel, Shameik Shepherd, Wayne Martin.
That's early. That's what? Oh, that's 10.
That's like 10 to 14.
Yeah, so yeah.
10 to 14, right?
I was thinking 9, but like, yeah.
And that's where I seen a young Isaiah Whitehead.
Shout out Zeke, yo.
When I was at Metro Hawks, who I seen a lot, and every time he sees me, he has conversations with me about that. Desi Rodriguez, Kadeem Carrington. Like I covered these dudes, and when they see me, they pay homage to me. Like, I be like, bro, I'm proud of y'all. Tavon Myers, 63 points in a JV basketball game. You know what I mean? Like, bro, Ray Selnave. Like, yo, these guys that I covered back then, when I see them, they show love. Because it was always genuine. Like with you, you're genuine. Like I watch your interviews. When you interview Ike, when you interview Dave, you know, unless when the Good Brothers podcast was here. Jay Will, I knew Jay Will since he was in high school. Tyler Bourne, I coached against Tyler Bourne when he was in 8th grade. He fried my middle school. 40 and change. I'm like, damn, bro. He had a 40 ball. I mean, so it was like what we do, people are always going to remember. We're history. We're a part of that New York City high school basketball, just basketball period imprint, right? And this is where I believe that, you know, I'm going to challenge us one day to all come sit down at the round table and figure out how can we corner the market opposed to having people from out of town get to come in our parks and take pictures.
Yo, get clearance before us.
I'm going to tell you why. Because people, you know, be having those conversations that we're not privy to, which is messed up because it's like, yo, I know this interview is about to go in another space, which it should, because people need to know. Like, yo, you're needed. You're needed in basketball in New York City. You do amazing stuff. So the people who don't think you do amazing stuff, they just can't do what you do.
Appreciate that.
You know what I mean? And this is like with NYC Prospects. Like, bro, it's going to be a time where is that I'm trying to find somebody next up. Like I don't see nobody in the city who do better events than us. I'll put my last dollar on that.
I was tight that I wasn't at that event that you guys had at Jeff. At Jeff.
Oh, the Kings County Classic?
Yeah, I was tight. I was in there. I was supposed to be there. I just didn't get to go.
So you want to hear the funny story about that?
Talk to me.
I was against it.
Oh.
Tell you why I was against it. Look,
nah, because I know. Yeah. I had to make sure we get on time. You know, some of these things can't be. You know, try to keep it concise. I ain't trying to rush you.
I was against it because of the issues that were going on in the Brooklyn 4A.
Okay.
I did not want to do it. So Kim, she cursed me out. I'll keep it a buck. She wowed me up, cursed me out for like 10 minutes flat. I said, I bet I'll do it. Then we were supposed to have it at South Shore. You know, something transpired at South Shore. Then we had it at Jeff, and it was a great turnout. So now we're going to expand to the Bronx. That's for next year.
Yeah, we got to spread out the city, even though it's Brooklyn, Bronx, all that crap, whatever. You know, city is the city, man.
Yeah.
All right, so we do have only a few minutes left. I just want to get your 2 things on this, and we can head up out of here. What is somebody that should be in your seat? This is a new thing that I'm going to start. I took it from All the Smoke. They asked their guests at the end of the interview, who would you want to see in that same spot? So is there someone or some people New York City-wise that you feel high school level, pro level, whatever it is, coaching, corporate, if they decide to get up in that chair. Right. But is there somebody or a few people that you would want to see on this platform and tell their story?
I would love for you to interview my man Brett Carter. He's from Fort Greene, right? But he plays an intricate part in just my life in itself when it comes to basketball in the city and just personal stuff. And Brett, he's the reason why he called up. I'm gonna tell you offline, but every joke that we watch in our comments, he's the reason for it, right? And a kid who I want you to interview honestly, because I feel like his story needs to be honestly told, is Trevor Lewis from Thomas Jefferson. Like he embodies being from Brownsville. The reason being because, you know, both his parents are from the neighborhood. You know, I watched his dad watched me grow up, and I met his moms years later. And his mother, low key, made me coach at a program that I wasn't supposed to be coaching with, but I had to. You know what I mean? So it was like, yeah, man, but you know, there's certain stories that need to be heard, and there's certain stories that just don't need to be even spoken about, because a lot of people are going to be fronting anyway. But I know with Trevor and Brett, Uncle Horse, there's going to be some factual stuff.
All right, we could work on that. And last but not least, your 5 seconds, maybe your 2 minutes. It will usually be 5 minutes, but you know the studio's trying to holler at me. But say your piece, whatever's on your mind. Last few things before we depart and put an interview to close. This is your camera right here. And
all right,
talk to the people.
So the first thing you got to do is follow SwayReportingLive.
Oh,
He's going to be one of our partners by probably November, trust me. But big shout out to everyone who supports NYC Prospects. We appreciate what you do for us. You know, a lot of the fans in the city, supporters, programs, y'all keep us on our toes. The 2 Claps Report is going to have a different look this year, so be prepared for that. Follow our other pages, Recruit the Prospects. That page is about to be expanded to, you know, highlighting and showcase our student athletes. And then we have a page called NYC Prospect Kicks that we about to talk about sneakers and have more conversations around that. God. But besides that, it's all about the Big Apple. It will forever be about the Big Apple. That's
I gotta get on the podcast that y'all start, right?
Yeah, of course. Down to the wire. Big shout out to Mr. Allen Work and his man.
I gotta formally meet him. I know who he is, but I haven't formally met him, so I gotta tap in.
Matter of fact, our business meeting is tonight. That's gonna be fun.
Yeah. Just letting you know, I want PC on that podcast. I just want to get up in there and just soaking all the knowledge.
But low key, we need to start using his space.
The man that almost walked in is the big homie, so I can tap you in.
Yeah, I need to tap in. This is we need this right here, man. But thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
For this interview.
Coach Randy Millard.
Yo, stop, yo.
Yo, appreciate you.
No doubt. Oh, my man.
And that's another edition. SwayReportingLive 101 sit downs. I hope you enjoy it. We're out of here.
Peace.